Table Talk is not your typical D&D TTRPG podcast. We are not here to run you through our whole campaign.
We're here to talk about everything else in the space of tabletop roleplay.
I'm your host, Alejandra Wilhelm.
And I'm also your host, Mariah Gresham.
And we're your tabletop roleplay girlies.
And we are live with another episode of Table Talk. Please don't mind me laughing at what our guest definitely didn't say right before the beginning of this episode, but welcome. Thank you so much again for joining us. And we have a guest, as I mentioned. You want to go ahead and reintroduce yourself to our guests?
Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny. I'm TalkingXP on all the socials. That's me. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, you. Incredible. Well, welcome back, homie.
I'm so happy to
One
be
of
here.
our first babies, our first
I know.
Nice.
Dude,
which is crazy.
wild.
Like, you were
that,
the reason we went to PAX. Like, it was,
Yeah.
God.
Right.
It's like
and
back in the troves.
dude, so wild that like Threads introduced me to you guys and everyone else in the community, and then like we all kind of like grew together.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really cool. That was
The butterfly effect do be crazy to retroactively think about.
100%. It's wild.
Insane. But you have been a little busy bee.
I have.
I think counterintuitive to where we left you off, because we were like, you need to chill out, like learn a little work-life balance. I think is what was like the words of wisdom that we left on, I think.
We're like, we're going to
I think so.
collectively balance and then just
Yeah,
you
all
dump
of us
everything
as
on
a whole,
one side
for
of the
sure.
scale. None of us
Yeah.
did that, actually.
None of us did that.
No. Of course not.
No, why would we? But you've done a lot of really exciting stuff. Do you want to give us a little walk about some of your favorite
Sure.
things that you worked on?
Yeah. Okay. So since we last saw me, I was working on Okay. So I was working on Ravenloft Misfits, which was
Yep.
my Curse of Strahd campaign, which
Mhm.
ended this past year in February, I think. We had
Mhm.
had like our last episode, battled Strahd, did the whole thing in last October, and then we just couldn't get schedules throughout the entire holidays until February. And we had the epilogue, and it was a beautiful story, super great, and I am so happy with that. It was 3 years that I was running that. So that ended up finishing in early this year. Then I also started getting into Candela Obscura, which I've had, y'all on. So
We were on.
Yes.
it was
You
great.
introduced us to that, which was also super
It-
fun.
It is great. I love it. And it was a cool difference between D&D and like that type of horror versus the
Mhm.
investigative horror that you could do with that, and like kind of how it's like rules light almost, but
Yeah.
still really deep that you can make it. It's more like it focuses on the story rather than like the rules and how you can do things with the rules and things.
Yeah.
So jumped super far into that. By doing so, I was, I've been talking to Darrington Press about different projects that I'm doing with Candela and stuff like that, which led to us doing the first Kickstarter for a Candela assignment, which I worked with Boss Jellybean, Janelle, and then also
Mhm.
Margot Mods Games, Andy. We wrote together a one-shot that we then put on Kickstarter. We were going low for the the amount to get, which we ended up getting, I think, like 300 or so, which, I mean, with no advertisement and accidentally going and hitting launch, because this is my first Kickstarter that I've ever done, and
Happens to the best of us.
You
That's
know,
why it shouldn't be so
sometimes-
accessible.
sometimes you gotta goof, all right? You just
Yeah.
gotta goof.
What happens
Sometimes
to
it's
the
just
Are
a
You- yeah.
surprise lunch.
There should be like an Are You Super Sure pop-up.
Yeah.
So
Before
here's
that.
You
here's
just
the
did
thing.
the same thing that the Elder Scrolls did with Oblivion and just ghost dropped it on random because
Dude, I know,
you
that was
knew-
so wild. They were just like, oh, by the way, we just remade Oblivion. Here you go.
Yeah,
Here's a
here
lot
you
of
go,
fun
here
for
you
you.
go.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's the
And
same
then
thing.
Same energy.
it's so
same
good.
energy.
So good that they kept all of those like random gimmicks that
Mm-hmm.
made Oblivion and kept it in the remake. Like, there is this one part where one of the voice actors did a line and said, wait, no, let me do it again. and then does the line again, and they kept that
As
in the original game.
Oh, incredible.
Oh, that's good. That's strong right
It's
there.
so good. It's so good, and they kept it in the remake, so it's amazing. But yeah, why the fuck? That was wild.
I want that, but with Red Dead, whoever has the original files where Arthur Morgan is talking to the horse too provocatively.
I need those released and on my desk
That's the remake I need for science. Because truly that circulates on Ollie and I's TikTok once a month at least. And we are contractually obligated to send it to each other when it resurfaces.
Naturally.
We're like, hello, my sister. We are here yet again in hell.
Yes.
We're never far.
Put the earbuds in.
No. Because the way I played that game, right? Innocent in the eyes of God. And didn't know I had a female horse until Arthur Morgan said things to her. And I had to pause game, walk around my couch.
Like, is it me? Am I the good girl?
On my hip. Ended the game
something.
and then took my PlayStation to my room because I was like, I can't play it in the living room anymore.
Not in the living room. That's a private game.
I didn't know that was an option for me.
That's a game for private time.
Speaking of which, there was me taking my Nintendo 64 out of the living room because I called Gary bitch and I didn't want my parents to see it and be in trouble because of it. Dude,
I
identify with this so much. 100%.
Sometimes you just have to tuck that away.
Or me playing it way too close to the sun whenever I was like first in college, and famously a Mass Effect and Dragon Age girly till the day I die. And notably, I was always dissatisfied with how little not safe for work content there is for certain alien romances that are not
naturally
human-y conforming. Because the most intimate things you do with Garrus is like a forehead butt in like the second game, and like you kiss him in the third, but everybody else gets to fucking knock boots and toss each other around the fucking cabin.
Bullshit.
Like it's
and like why is Garrus the best partner for Shepard if he doesn't get a romance scene?
It
makes sense.
Yeah, I waited forever to play Andromeda because we remember the bullshit that was Andromeda when it first dropped, and everybody was like, "Hey, this is bad."
I didn't play it because of that. I didn't get it. I was super stoked, but I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be cool." Didn't get it.
I was like, "Look what they did to my son," and I didn't play it forever until finally, like, some people started being like, "Hey, they patched a lot of the shit. It's like playable now."
They've saved
it. And I was
it.
like, "Okay, let me go look at it." Really enjoyed it. I treat it like its own separate thing, though. I don't treat it like part of the trilogy.
Sure.
Like on a standalone level, I enjoyed it. I genuinely did. And
is there Reapers in that one?
No. So
is there supposed to be another one?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
They left it off in a place where there could be another.
Sure.
And so I'm playing it, whatever. I end up falling for the fucking giant purple cat man. That is the alien option, of course.
I'm not that deep into the series yet. I'm working on it.
I appreciate that they let me schmooze multiple people at once before I fully committed to somebody, though.
Yeah.
So, like, I got to get to varying degrees of intimacy with multiple people without any drama. And
Ket. Yeah. Ket? Is that the guy?
I think his name is Jaal. Jaal. Jaal or something.
Not Dragon Age. The other one, Brain, please.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Same person. So, I don't know why it said Ket, but yeah, okay.
That might be like the race. I don't remember what it was called.
Maybe.
Yes. My Shayla.
Yes, my Shayla.
We've talked about him.
And I started romancing him because the whole deal with his like specific alien species is that they're just very emotionally mature and like completely honest about their feelings. I'm like, yeah, of course, horn for every woman that ever existed.
Right,
yeah.
What else could you want? And
why is that so rare?
I start romancing him, and I'm not expecting anything crazy. Like, we already had a scene where he's like full naked from the back, and I was like, hey, that's more than I ever got with Garrus. I don't even know what that man looks like with armor. And
is the armor
I was like,
part of him? Like, what does he look
who
like
knows?
underneath?
Who knows?
Who say?
No.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. Okay, picture me sitting in the living room of my townhouse university situation. I have two other non-nerdy women that live with me. At the moment, from my knowledge, they're not home. I haven't checked. I'm playing this shit in the living room. I get to like the scene And Jaw's like taking you to this little oasis, little water situation with a waterfall on his home planet. Homie gets naked. And then he gets in the water, points to you, you get naked. I was like, wait a minute. And then they do like a cute little, like sensual, like little thing in the water. They're spinning each other around, whatever. I was like, okay, I can fuck with this. They're making out. I'm like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it like kind of fades to black. I think that's it. That's not it, bitch. It pans to like, they're behind the waterfall. My girl is on her back. Okay. And then homeboy is in between her legs. And I was running around my fucking living room screaming like it's the Super Bowl.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah!
Truly.
My brother.
Get it!
Christ. I was like, because they're famously not known for giving you what you want. I'm going to be real when it comes to that community.
That was like us during
like
the lesbian House of the Dragon kiss, where we were like, what is happening?
Yeah. No, I was never happier than that moment. And then also so stressed because I was like, if anyone walks in right now, there is just a alien eating out a woman behind a waterfall while the
you're
giant
yelling.
flat screen TV.
Yeah, at full volume.
I just imagine like the gif from Community when Donald Glover's character walks in with pizza and everything is on fire. They're just gonna walk in like, oh,
yeah,
all right.
Except I'm the fire. I'm the fire in the room.
Yeah.
God,
I can understand that.
Incredible. I don't even know how we got on this topic, but I'm glad I got to rave about that.
Sneaky drops. That's what it was. We went to Oblivion, and then then we just kind of fell down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Shit. What did
you
what did we do?
Dropped the Candela Obscura.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Right. Candela Obscura Kickstarter, and then did really well. They ended up actually backing it, Darrington Press, so that was really cool.
Hell yeah.
And then we were able to do, because there was like a Candela week, and that's where it really hit with some heavy burnout. That was like the catalyst for me to be like, I need to calm the fuck down.
Homie, you were chucking them hoes out there back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you were one of them, but you did like several others.
I did like a series of like 10 within like 3 months. It was
which
nuts.
is crazy.
Insane.
It was crazy. Yeah. I goddamn, I shouldn't have done so much so quick, but you know what? That dopamine, I had to grab it.
Sometimes the spirit moves you. The spirit is dopamine.
Yep. Yeah. But it was really cool. And then I got to go to Gen Con and talk to the people there, and we were like, kind of talking about what's going next, and wanted to talk about Daggerheart and stuff like that. But they were still pretty early on in the release, which now the release was May 20th. So
I'm low-key kind of mad I didn't get one. And I forgot that it was releasing until I saw you post about it, and then I was fuck, I missed it.
Yeah,
I also completely forgot about that. Admittedly, I've not been plugged into anything lately just because life's been so crazy, but...
Yeah. I also forgot to get one of the limited edition, and by the time that I remembered, they were already sold out, and I was like, well, I can just go get a fucking book from one of the game stores and just
it'll still
do
be
that.
Pretty.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It's just, damn.
The little goblin in me that likes to collect the doodads.
I like the gilded ones. Maybe you could get one and gild it yourself. Like look up bookbinding, if you have,
I know many an Etsy whore.
Does your wife have like a Cricut machine where you can like print out like the vellum stick? You can gild your own book, brother. You don't need.
But they probably
DIY.
They're probably going to have them at Gen Con, I imagine. I imagine that they have like a specific stash just for Gen Con.
They didn't
right? I mean,
sell all
they made
of them.
it. They could probably make it again if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
So I might just get one there. I mean, I already have the PDF, so I know all the rules, and I'm making a how to play Daggerheart video right now. Actually, I have the script that I'm writing up right here. I've spent a whole bunch of time today just grabbing that dopamine as we do, and just listening to music and reading through the rules and all that stuff.
One day I'm gonna get you a gift card to just like a spa for a weekend for you and your wife, and just really chill the fuck out.
Or like one of those like sensory
you're
deprivation.
contractually obligated to FaceTime me, so I know you're actually there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like one of
proof of chilling the fuck out.
Like your wife's just locking you in a sensory deprivation chamber.
I need your wife to check in with me, be like, he just went to his massage. He's in the sauna now.
If I was in a sensory deprivation chamber, I probably would come out with an entire campaign all ready to go.
No, I think it could be good.
That would be nuts.
I think it might fix. I think it might fix us. Actually,
you'd come out and be like, "I won all TTRPGs."
I think. I think the dark egg.
Is this a good story? And everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
I've solved it.
Yeah, I think floating in the dark egg is the
everyone
answer.
can schedule their games perfectly.
Oh my god! If anybody ever figures that out, that would be the best, because all of that leads to. I was part of like other projects. One of the greatest things, God, ADHD. One of the greatest things about finishing my long-term campaign is that I don't have to do a long-term campaign anymore. Like I have done it. I have done the editing. I have done all of the scheduling and all of that stuff, and I am done. And so now I can be on other projects. It ended the way you wanted it
to. Like it's wrapped up. It's done now.
It was so good. So now I can guest on other people's stuff, which I have been doing, and it's been great. It's been so nice to just show up and be
back,
like, "Cool, let's just play." Like I get to play finally. I'm not like a GM the whole time.
I don't know, but I'm ready to rock.
Exactly right. So I've had some pretty great opportunities. One of them is actually it's called Wild Magic West. This is something that Whitney Smoking Glue Guns ran. Dude, the cast is incredible. I just was in awe just watching my fellow players just take the reins of roleplay and just run through and do incredible things. It was great. But of course, you can't keep me down for long. So I decided, hey, let's do a long-term campaign of just 10 sessions.
Shawnee, no. Oh, that's scary. Okay, 10 sessions is 10 sessions is respectable.
10 sessions. That's a medium
not 100. Term. That's a medium term
Hold yourself
campaign.
to that.
Yeah. So I decided, hey, let's do a Daggerheart campaign. And the day that Daggerheart released was the first episode of Bitten, which is the zombie campaign that I'm running. And it is very much like Last of Us and Walking Dead, where if you're bit, you are turning. And that is that. And so I think that we just did the first session last night that went absolutely incredible. The cast that I have on this campaign is 2 of them are in my Wild Magic West game, and there's a reason for that. And then the other 2 are equally incredible. And they just we told such a tragic yet hopeful yet terrifying story all in one 4-hour session. And I couldn't be happier with how it came out. So yeah, we're pretty stoked about this, because
that's awesome.
The cast is just incredible. And
what system are you using for the zombie game?
Daggerheart.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So the thing with Daggerheart that's really cool is that they have this thing called campaign frames. And at the very end of the book, they have a few example campaign frames. One of them is the Age of Umbra, which if you're watching Critical Role, that's the one that they're going to be delving into next, which is a campaign frame written by Matthew Mercer. And it's all based on like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and that sort of like dark, grungy, difficult,
like grim grinder-esque world.
Right, exactly. It's all based on that, and like no hope in the world, kind of just terrible, but fun. And so he's going to be running the Age of Umbra in a Daggerheart game for Critical Role. Well, that whole campaign frame is in the Daggerheart book that you can use. So campaign frames can be used. There's like a template that they're going to be making here pretty soon for other people to make campaign frames, and Bitten is going to be one of them. Not like published, not published, just
okay, yeah.
I will publish myself. But like it has its own mechanics, like how the bite works and how that works with Daggerheart's rules. It has, different factions that were before the outbreak and how they look now and what happened with them. And then it has just like general guidance on how to run a game in this world if you do end up doing this for whatever reason. But yeah, it's really cool. I really like how flexible Daggerheart is. Yeah,
I've never played Daggerheart, and I very much want to because it seems super cool. I didn't know it was that flexible. I
played it
wild.
Yeah, I played it once before, and it was really fucking fun.
It's sweet. I really like the whole hope and fear die. So if you, Mariah,
didn't we play together? Like, weren't we both in the same game?
Maybe. Yeah, y'all were.
Yeah, no, me and Johnny, I'm pretty sure it was like a manor and like a guy had died and they were reading his will.
Yes. That was an offline game. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm thinking
God, that was so long ago. I totally forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the cool things about Daggerheart is that you, instead of rolling a D20, you're rolling 2D12. And one of them is your hope die, one of them is your fear die. You roll each of them, you add those together, and then you add whatever modifiers or anything like that you have. And then whichever dice is higher, that modifies your result. So if you get like a 12 on the hope die and a 3 on the fear, that's 15 with hope.
Yeah, so that means whichever dice is higher is the direction.
Right. So if the difficulty is like 15, you succeed with hope, and so you get what you want, and there's no consequences. Then if you succeed with fear, you get what you want, but there's a cost. If you fail with hope, you don't get what you want. You deal with the consequences, but they're not as bad as they could have been. And then if you fail with fear, that's like the worst possible outcome.
Gotcha. That's cool. I like that.
Right, which is super cool because it adds more complexity to you passed or you didn't. It's you passed, but something bad happened as well.
It's the same. It's similar to the Candela Obscura, like 4 and 5 successes, where it's like you succeeded, but not cleanly.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Is that like, the succeeding with fear is just like mixed successes. Succeeding with hope is just like a full success, and then failure with hope is just kind of that other little medium thing where you're just like, it's not as bad as it could
be worse. We're still hanging on to something.
Yeah. Right. So I think it's a really cool system, and I think that it's going to do really well, especially with the campaign frames. I think that's going to be one of the big things that just takes off.
Yeah. Daggerheart is one of the systems because like eventually once we're done with Strixhaven, I want to move away from a D&D system. I'll like definitely take a break for a bit and like let the girls run their own games that they're starting up.
Yeah.
But if I start up a new campaign, I want to have a different system. And so I've played around with I want it to be a more narrative style game because that is just what me and my girls do.
Yeah.
And D&D provides a framework for sure, but like
it's crunchy.
It's crunchy, and we're much more like role play girlies. And and I know combat for us in the D&D sphere and like mechanics can sometimes get like lengthy, and it's not our main interest, and it just kind of slogs. Whereas I feel like if we had a combat style in a game that was narrative based, that combat would be more enjoyable for the players at my table.
Yeah. Which that's how Daggerheart is. So I know during the beta they had like action tokens, and if you did something that would give the GM basically like action tokens that they could use when it flips back to their side, because there's no initiative in Daggerheart. The way that it works is the players go first unless the GM spends a fear to end up like to start the combat on their end. So and the way that works is when you roll with fear, the GM gets a fear token that they can use later. And then if you roll with hope, you gain a hope that you could then use to do like abilities and aiding an ally, doing tag team, stuff like that.
And some of your abilities can like potentially negate or like take away the fear that the DM has. So there's like a whole aspect of like mentally tracking how many fears the DM has and then being like, somebody's got to start getting rid of that shit. Because if not, it's going to come back on us.
The GM is supposed to show you how many fear they have so that
Oh,
you're
really?
always aware of it. Yeah. And then there's a
Okay.
cap at 12. So
Okay.
they're not going to be like hoarding 24
12 is
fear
still a lot.
tokens.
Yeah.
12 is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But one of the other caveats about combat is that they can only activate each monster once unless stated otherwise, unless there's like a multi-attack kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a pack or something.
Right. So, and each other monster that they activate, that's another fear. So if I start a combat, I use a fear and I only have like 6, we'll say, and I have 5 adversaries. I could only use them to activate all 5 of them once. I would... No, the first one is always you're taking the spotlight over and then you get to do an action. So then you would only have to use 4 for the other 4 that are there. But regardless.
You chew through both the token types.
Exactly. And so you're kind of encouraged to use fear because if your players are rolling fear over and over and over again,
and you're just like,
you're going to get a bunch. Exactly. Right. Yeah, that's one of those
6
cool
dragons.
things. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, why not? But yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I think that fluidity of it, where the heroes they do things until they either fail or they roll with fear, and so that can lead to, 3 or 4 turns before the GM is like, all right, cut the shit, like it's my fucking turn now, and then spends a fear in order to bring it over to their turn and then activate certain things.
Yeah.
Right, which is
like
great.
that.
I think it's awesome because that gives such control to the GM to be like, okay, my guys are kind of fucking dying. I need to do something about this. And then they can just take the initiative rather than them getting stomped on the entire time.
My turn is coming eventually.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of similar to what I like about like the smoothness of it, what I like about BTM's combat, because like it flows in and out of narrative very easily. And most of it, at least, like you can get hella crunchy with BTM. We don't, because nobody's experienced enough, and like with scheduling, we're not able to play as consistently as we'd like to. So I usually just do like 3 rounds and out rule, where it's like we're gonna best of 3 rounds wins it. Now there are some like future combats that like you gonna have to duke it out. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But like largely, it's like, oh, if we start some shit, we'll resolve it in 3 rounds, and then if we don't, I guess we'll take 3 more, and then that we just flow right back out of it.
Yeah. It's also the thing of like my specific like DMing style is more narrative. So when like, although we don't do a whole lot of combat, I still give them like certain opportunities to kind of flex their skills here and there. Half the time they talk their way out of it because they're just like, no, I don't wanna. But when we actually like do have like combats, they're pretty big combats. Like they're arc finale combats. And like, right now we're about to do my biggest combat that I've ever fucking tried to run, where it's we had a ball that was like the wedding of one of our players, that is also being used as a political device for a coup by her father.
Yeah. I think I saw the notes about this. Yeah.
And that's all, like that fight has now basically like begun. And like we left last session with her mom got right there in front of God and everybody.
Wonder how that happened.
It could never be me.
Oh, of course not.
But yeah, no, next session we start a huge ass combat in a giant ballroom full of a bunch of NPCs. I've given each of them control of one NPC character that they've played narratively before.
Oh, that's cool.
Like earlier in the arc.
We each have with the GM.
We each have
I'm like, take these characters off my hands, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm also running fucking everyone else.
Everything
and that's
else,
like the moments where I'm like, yeah, if this was a more narrative style mechanic, I would be having such a better time about it. But no, I have to just track all these little minions,
like spell slots and shit. What do you mean?
That's
and
one
I'm
of the
not
things
a numbers
about
girly. I'm not a crunchy girl.
Even I am, and it's hard to keep track of a lot of that stuff. I know that like on Roll20, unless you have specific character sheets for each person, which would take forever to open because Roll20 sometimes, a lot of the times, isn't
Crashes
fast.
the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. So you have one character sheet open, so you can't keep track of everyone else's spell slots because it's one character sheet. And then on the flip side, if you're running in person, you're going to have to keep like a whole bunch of dice in front of you. And okay, this person used this and this and that.
Yeah.
That's what I
also, all the
currently
minis
do.
on the table.
Yeah.
Huh?
Also, all the minis on the table that are like
all the
5
minis-
feet
and you're
away
like,
from
is
me.
this mine? Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
we just now got like a TV mounted situation.
Oh,
So now we
cool.
have that going,
Nice.
Which is nice.
which is nice. So like maps wise, I don't have to worry about ever like bringing those. But yeah, no, it is going to be, last session, I spent a lot of it like preemptively. I have skinny minis. So I like set them all up and
Those are
I
cool,
have them
yeah.
in a box somewhere. So when we do bust
Yeah, I
out
just
combat,
found like a tray in my
already
house
got
where I'm like, here's
most
your
of the
guys.
I remember when I first started, I got I would print out like on a paper, you know, 2 sides of a mini,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put them together and then tape them to like laminate them,
Yeah.
and then I would put them into, you know, those like large paper clips that, but like the
Yeah.
bigger ones.
the little
I'd
binder.
put it in there.
Binder clip
Yeah,
for a few.
and then I would hot glue a penny at the bottom so that it would stay standing.
Yeah,
That was my way of doing minis, which is very
Hey, it
similar.
it works.
Girls
It
make
works. It's great.
Girls make
Yeah.
do. Country girls make do is crazy.
You know me.
For the guy from California, country girls make do is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw, dude.
Yeehaw,
But-
fam.
Yeehaw, my brother.
To say
go.
a few things about Daggerheart in comparison to D&D. D&D is very rules crunchy, and the character sheets that you find for D&D are just so much text that like if you're a new GM, holy shit, that's
That's
a lot.
just a lot.
It's
a
so
lot of
much.
words.
It's so much. And yeah, exactly. It's a lot of words. I'm not reading any of them. Like that is yeah. I'm just gonna read some and be like,
And even
5
when
minutes after combat, like, fuck, he's immune to fucking ice damage.
Yeah.
Shit.
and even
you
when
know?
you're like using D&D Beyond, it's still like pages to flip through. Yeah, I have to go look through all your fucking features and traits
Yep.
and have
D&D
those
Beyond's
top of
worse
mind.
for that.
Like yeah.
Yeah, like it is better, sadly, to like write out a character sheet and do it in shorthand.
Yeah.
If you're the player, if you're the DM,
If you're the player, if you're the
Right.
damn impossible.
if you're the DM,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess just fuck off and die. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Like,
mean, pretty much, yeah.
Like
I have also
also
separate campaign for just the NPCs I have to keep
Yeah.
track of and have to have sheets for.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't have too much better of a time with it with VTM because I will have like my laptop up with my notes and some of the NPC sheets that I've cobbled together, but then I have y'all sheets in my lap, so I'm flipping through. It's 2
Mhm.
pages each. Where I'm like, "Where's your fucking dice pool? What you?"
Yeah.
And then, but like everybody's abilities and stuff that they have, that's full on our system because like I haven't kept track of that.
You know
Right,
what
yeah.
You know what would be probably really good for your like VTM stuff if you ever like set up Excel. I saw somebody do this where they did Excel sheets.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
he had,
I
like-
just need
Oh
to
no, he
eventually
did
do it.
Obsidian and he had a beautiful like Obsidian layout of how he keeps track of his characters, their abilities, and the way it's formatted. It was very like at a glance.
Interesting.
I need to find
And
that.
like
Yeah,
it
'cause
like I will
I
send
have-
it to you.
Send it to me when you find it because I have Obsidian for the lore because I do love a good mind map. It's not all in there. We haven't.
Johnny,
played
you're
through it. It's
you're
fine.
looking at me with the face of a man who said the lore lives in my head and nowhere else.
I have Obsidian and I've yet to use it because
I'm not
I just
doing it well. Like I'm not using Obsidian to the full that it can do.
I haven't,
just
I haven't
Incredible, I love it.
transferred my
I'm just
shit over
putting-
yet.
I'm throwing some dots up there. I'm bringing out a few strings. It's just a baby web. It's nothing crazy.
Sure.
But
I learned all of my shit on Roll20, and so I know how to like link handouts. I know how to make like bullet points and heading and
oh damn,
you know
you're like you
how to
sold
show-
your soul to Roll20.
I sold my soul to Roll20, and I'm a Roll20 ambassador, so it makes sense. But like, yeah, it's just it would require me to learn another system, which I've already fine-tuned one already. So it's like, but I bought it and I want to use it. It's just
you don't have to go like gangbang crazy. To be fair,
that's
like, you
true.
can just like you can put things in brackets, and that'll link you to other nodules. Like you can just do some basic playing around stuff.
Is to like take off of work for a week and like close myself off in my office, and then just like transfer my mind palace into it.
Yeah,
because you have a huge Discord
server.
and that's not a bad thing. It's just that shows how much you put into it, and I think that would be.
There's so much in there,
would be
and like
beneficial.
Yeah, and well, it's scary. I have to do it now because I recently found out because one of my players, Alyssa, has her fucking clan of jacks. Because she, since the dawn of her making her first jack playing with us, she has since made well over like almost 200 jacks. Whether she plays them or not, they just exist as a collective in a world. And so,
but, Alyssa doesn't have Discord Nitro, to be fair.
No, okay.
Which is important.
She started, she was like, I'm going to make a server like mine, but for her jacks.
For the jacks.
She started, and then she found a limit.
She's like, there's a limit of pages.
Yeah.
There's a limit?
And we were all like, what? There's a cap on that?
Yeah, I was like, if there's a cap, I haven't hit it, and I don't know how close I am to hitting it.
Yeah. But you
I have Nitro, but also there may still be a limit. It just is higher.
Could you imagine?
I don't know.
That would be nuts.
I don't know.
And if I ever reach that limit, I might crash the fuck out.
Honestly, that would be a very valid crash out for sure.
Like if Discord's ever like, hey, bitch, you can't actually have another channel. You're like, no, you drive to the headquarters.
Excuse me? What the fuck?
You like give
there
it
has
to
to be an exception for the rule.
Discord.
Dear Mr. Discord and your wife Nitro, I need both of you on a Zoom call and
put the server in the back of my Kia Sorento and let me take it home. Like I need
Let me have it, please.
Yeah, I'll put it in a freezing fucking room somewhere in my house.
Yeah.
But I
mean, what, you don't have one of those? I mean, that would
we'll figure it out. But yeah, no, that Discord server truly is a monster. And every time I invite somebody to be like a secret DM on the back end, there's always a little bit of shame tied to it. Because then it's like they get in, they're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
No,
and then I'm
shame
like, I give them the secret role, and they're like, "Why is there a Titanic iceberg?"
It is organized, so it's not.
It is organized.
It's not hoarding.
It's
if it's
very organized, and that's a very it's a very organized Discord server that like I look over and I'm like, damn, and not in a bad way. Like, damn, this is cool. This like you could tell there's a lot of work that went into it. You could see it. It's pretty fucking sweet.
I am. Years from now, when Strixhaven is over, I am excited to see the full Discord
to gain
reveal.
access to the full backend.
Yeah.
I'll take a screenshot and then just like blur some of the things out so you can just see.
Well, I've shown them, like, I haven't like gone into it, but I've like scrolled through and shown them how many channels there are.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And been like, no, so I'm like, so here's all y'all's channels, and then we hit the voice chat channels, which is the median.
So how do you keep track of where you put which notes then? Like, is there ever a point where you're just like, oh shit, that guy, the fucking NPC that you saw 3 years ago, shit. How do you find that?
There is a little bit of a system. So like on the bottom side, there's kind of minor sections. So some of them will say like, I have like a whole little section for like Reyna and the Night Court and like where those NPCs are, and they're kind of broken up a little bit. I have a section for like the Oric. I have a section for like owl agents and whatever. The things that I can't say yet. And
pretend I'm not
like,
here.
They're kind of broken. They're broken up a little bit. So if I need something from a very specific section, I know where to find it. There's trauma channels for each player. So that's where I start planning specifically shit meant for them on their arc is all in there.
Makes sense.
The search feature is my best friend because I always like try to label pictures with a name and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Or I'll do conditions. I'll do conditions on my search. So it'll be like has media X, whatever, all that
Discord
stuff.
does a banging search feature. It is really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
So in the moment when we're like at play and someone's like, oh, this person, whatever, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember where that is, I will be like in the search feature being like, the first name has image, like whatever, and it narrows it down.
All across your channel, or I guess your server.
If you go to the very top, like not in a channel, but if you go to the very top and click like search, yes.
Yeah, you can search.
You can search the whole server.
Cool.
Or you can search within a specific channel if you want.
Yeah, so I guess that I'm just looking over it right now.
I'm looking for something my players fucking sent me. So I'll be like, it had to be sent from Alyssa or whatever. And it has an image and this name and whatever. And then I find it.
I love how you have dorms, central campus, all of these like...
Oh yeah, the top half is like a little bit like set up like the world.
And like
kind of.
The dean's office is just great. I love it.
The dean's office is like a one-on-one VC. Like there's a limit of 2, I think, in there. So it would be like a secret one-on-one with me.
So cool.
And then there's like a secret voice channel just for like me and the DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. No, it's
been a labor of love.
So,
but
Obsidian.
You need the integration that where you can just be like, hey, Obsidian.
Import.
Hey, Obsidian, get in there. Hey, get in there, friend.
That'd be so cool.
There's got to be... I know AI is the devil, but there's got to be some little bot somewhere that can get in there, right?
Sort of a thing, yeah.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Get in there.
I think you might just have to finish Strixhaven before you start. Because there is so many notes here. Like, I'm just looking over it, and it's like there's so many channels, and then each of them have so many notes inside of them.
Yeah, I'm really going to have to get my shit together with VTM before we start playing at a regular clip. Because I don't really
You need to get into it from now.
I have to get my fucking lore hygiene down.
You have to start.
If not, you'll be like me.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I don't even
me getting into Roll20. Like, it's either or.
I can't. I have a better relationship with Roll20 with the amount of streaming I've done. Roll20 and I love her for her customizability. I respect the mission and the dream. She and I have beef from a UI perspective. And when
was the last time you were on Roll20?
Not that long.
They've had some recent updates for sure.
They had some
might be better.
UI updates.
And I will say
it has a lot better for the eyes.
It has gotten better over the years from like the first time I got on it. But there's still like some parts of Roll20 I click and I just hear screaming in my head where I'm like, why are there so many letters on that page?
Oh,
like,
same. I get
that's not like it is like the back room where you're like, this isn't for me actually, and why can I open it?
Yeah, there's
like, why is there an algebra equation on this line? Why is it y plus 4 equals x? Why is that there?
Why am I in the coding?
Like, yeah, I don't
like the brackets and all that.
Yeah, like I would be more comfortable.
I just want to roll a d20.
Like I can read some actual code. Like I'll take that over whatever the fuck.
Why do I have to do a ritual to summon the Omni Gods just to look at my character sheet?
Agreed. No, there's this really annoying bug where like in the handouts when you're writing stuff, it will just randomly like just stop typing in the same format that you've been typing in, and like it'll oh my god, it's infuriating for no reason. Absolutely no reason.
That would
and then
break
like
me.
And then you press enter, and usually they're about this big of a space, but then there's like just one for
I would,
that, and I'm like,
simply crash.
Why?
I would simply crash out.
Why?
Formatting is my bread and butter, and I
would not be able to handle that. Actually,
yeah,
that would push me over the edge into just anarchy.
There are a few things from like you just
like it doesn't have to be this way.
Obsidian.
Like we've had rich text editors for so long. Why is it still this way?
Right? Yeah.
Like please,
like
somebody.
First, the internet was born, and then there were text editors. So like,
yeah.
It like was the second thing.
A fucking TXT document would be better. Like
sometimes
an
I
inline
have
coding
to
window
do that.
has even
I have
spacing.
To be like, it's not working. Why? Put it into a text thing and then put it back and then reformat it, and it's fine for some reason. There's just something in the code.
Have to do that. Yeah.
And then you don't need to know why.
Maybe it's not fully a rich text editor. Maybe it is like still quite quasi code thing, so it gets confused. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
I don't need to know what is under the skin of Roll20.
Under the hood. There's so many bugs in this baby.
Don't need to
This
know.
baby can hold so many bugs.
I don't need to know how many guys are in there.
Yeah, there's probably a lot. Women, get into STEM because holy shit,
saying.
we need women in there.
You put a really hyper fixated little OCD bitch in there, and she'll have it fixed by the end of the week.
She can clean it up.
Yeah. She'll be like, what the fuck? And then like
And it'll
fix
be
it
cute.
by the end of the day.
And it'll be cute.
And
while
it'll be cute.
functional.
100%.
And we'll have dark mode.
And we'll have dark mode.
We do have dark mode. I will say we do have dark mode, and it's nice.
Love that.
It is
I
good.
love that.
Yeah,
love that. See, they're working on it.
So happy when that happened.
They're working on it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. If you go back into Roll20, it's a completely different UI than
Let me pull her up since I've
dark mode was like the start. Dark mode was the start of like this whole UI overhaul or. Overhaul? Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
that's
overhaul.
a real word, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dark mode was like the start of this.
Debatable at best.
And everything looks completely different.
It ain't that.
And
it definitely looks a lot nicer now.
And they partner now with they bought out Demiplane. So now that character creator that is on Demiplane is now like 1-to-1 to Roll20, and they're gonna make some like integration stuff later, but like Demiplane is a really good
Demiplane is a great
Demiplane is quite cool.
If you buy something on Roll20, it'll go to
transfers
Demiplane.
over.
So like yeah, it's huge. It's gonna be huge.
The ambassador is ambassadoring.
You know, I get the emails and I have to store that away so that whenever this happens, I'm just like, listen,
that
folks.
is cool that there's crossover with Demiplane.
Welcome to the Church of Roll20.
That is nice. You're never fully gonna it's always gonna be a little rough and rowdy, and that's okay because that's just part of what it is.
Yep.
I don't know that I could run something on Roll20. I think that would push me over the edge.
I ran something one time for an interview. Yeah. Very briefly, I was like interviewing when I was just like looking for work and stuff. And I was like, I guess I could DM for money. And like I got in contact with this guy that ran a company specifically to teach kids how to play D&D and run like regular games for kids. And so the interview process was me running a game as if I was like going to run it for kids.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like I bought like these very cheap isometric assets and stuff by this really cute creator that had like very adorable little like kind of storybooky little like characters. And so I did a little witchy one shot for him. And there was like a cute little Baba Yaga hut. And I had a little witch icon, and then like she sent a little like bird helper and stuff with him, and so he got to see it like because it was like at an angle and not top down. It was very like storybooky.
Oh, that's cool. Cute. I like that.
That's really cool.
I was very proud of that.
So Roll20, everyone.
Roll20. It's getting better.
So yeah, well, that's their tagline. It's getting better. We're trying.
And you know what? I would appreciate that.
Stay, please.
I would appreciate that.
Stay, please is like the best.
Roll20.
Holy shit.
It's getting better. We promise we're doing our best. Stay, please.
We hired women. We'll just wait.
We're hiring women right now.
Leave. Roll20. We support DEI. We promise.
We support
divas.
Oh,
God. Man, that is like the... Nah, we don't need to get into it. Shit's fucking
I mean, we
whack
can get
here.
into it. Shit.
We can get into it? What the fuck is going on, y'all?
Sorry, I just made an executive call there. I'm sure we're fine.
Good.
Cool.
You're good.
Hey everyone, it's your editor Kay here. As you can tell, the next bit of this month's episode discusses current political climate and issues that are actively happening in the United States. Us girlies here at Table Talk wanted to take a moment to let you know that we understand these topics can be extremely triggering for a lot of people, as the events in the last several months have increased in scale and trauma to everyone. So, for the next portion of this episode, we will be discussing how these issues have impacted us and our communities directly. There is a list of current resources available in the bio for this episode. While this is by no means a comprehensive list, we hope that it helps you. Our table always supports human rights. Our show is no different. If you find yourself unable to listen for your mental capacity at this time, feel free to jump ahead in the episode about 18 minutes. Thank you for taking this moment with us. And now, back to the episode.
What the fuck are we?
stances.
What is going on? I mean,
you're
like,
gonna have to be just a skosh more specific. But I mean, yeah.
I know.
Generally,
I mean,
everything.
do I? Everything is on fire.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Gestures is everything. Yeah.
But like,
oh my God.
It's a bad time.
getting Pope that called out JD Vance was a highlight I wasn't expecting.
Getting Pope that is possibly exiling all MAGA
That's
Catholics.
A rumor. That's a rumor.
It's a rumor.
Let's hope it's real.
It's a rumor.
I doubt that will happen,
Yeah,
but I love that it's in the
did.
discussion.
I think I
love that
did
it's in the
hear a slight discussion of a certain pope not accepting gay
I saw that.
rights, I think, or that they're legitimate. So
No, it's not
that
great.
was a little troublesome.
Yeah, it's not great.
Pope Francis, man.
It's not great
Pope
for
Francis,
LGBT people. He's not
top
great.
tier pope.
Bring my bitch back.
There were some issues,
Yeah.
but like, who doesn't have issues? At least,
No, the
at
whole
least this guy was
narrative-
like,
Yeah.
I love y'all. Like,
The narrative that Vance sucked so bad that JD Vance had to go to heaven and tell the biggest adult is everything to me.
yeah.
That Pope Francis had to go. Yep.
So shit's fucking whack. I love if you're looking at Target's TikTok page, immediately when they said that they're dropping the DEI shit, immediately when that happened, follower count went down, views went down, immediately ratioed in the comments, and every single comment in there is like, I think I saw this at Costco, or Costco is a lot closer because Costco, shout out to Costco, fucking dope, incredible.
Shout out to fucking Costco because they do look out like a motherfucker for their employees. They pay them good living wages. They get benefits.
I worked at Costco for a brief stint, and managers are managers. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
I had a really shitty manager. However, I was part-time and I had full benefits that I declined at the time because I was young. I was still under my parents. But I had full benefits that I could have taken advantage of. I had huge flexibility on my hours because I would work mornings and I would always come in and do stuff whenever I was available, and they were like, you're chill, cool. And then once my previous manager left and went to the food court, the other manager that came in was like, you're fucking dope. And I was like, okay, finally we have
some
I shit you not.
Yeah, a chill person.
The previous manager that I had, their motto was, I don't want to butcher this, but it's request perfection, achieve excellence, or something along those lines of like, ask for perfection and achieve excellence, or something like that. And I was like, what?
No.
I told him, I was like, nobody's perfect. First off, second off, I can't do the things you're saying. I literally cannot do it. I had to have a sit down with this fucking guy and tell him, you're telling me to do an hour's worth of work in 20 minutes, dude. And I remember specifically, he's like, can you get this done in 20 minutes? I was like, no. And then he's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I can't make sure all the pallets are straight, face everything, bring in all the new shit, replace it with all the other pallets, and then put all the old stuff on the top as well. I can't do that in 20 minutes, you fucking crazy bitch.
In
like, what?
A huge fucking store.
And at like 2 a.m., mind you. No, I'm not working on full cylinders right now. I'm like, I can't fucking do that. And then he had a huge fit. That's when I had to sit down with him. And then he left like a month later, and the other manager was like, you're doing a fucking great job. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
somebody
like one crazy
that has
person.
actual sense. Oh my God. Yeah. But anyways, outside of that one fucking crazy person, chill. Costco's chill. Yeah.
I got a
Wild.
Costco membership this year, and it's great. It's the good place.
I did too. Actually, this is the first year that I had Costco as well. Yeah, it's fucking sweet. But yeah, Target got ratioed in all of their comments, and
should.
Yeah.
They silently, like the release of Oblivion remake, silently started putting in, like, get this, people with melanin in their videos again. Crazy. And then people were like, wait,
what are you doing?
What are you are you or are you not? Like, you can't be both.
No.
Like, you can't just walk it back after you said the bad thing. You have to come and be like, hey, no, we were wrong. We're gonna like, no, you can't just sneaky. I'm very interested to see, like, Pride Month. What is Target gonna try to, like?
Oh my god! Oh,
because they always do something. So I'm like, how? I've been wondering about that.
They always do something, and it's the most performative shit because the second that Pride is over, they rip those rainbows off the shelves, bitch.
Or the second they get any flack from anybody about anything that they're carrying, like. Any flack, they're like, oh, sorry, no, sorry, we didn't mean to do that. Like, fucking stand for something, dude.
Yeah.
There was, what was I going to say? There was another thing that I wanted to bring up. Shit. Oh, right. So immediately when the inauguration happened and I saw that Jeff Bezos and fucking Zucky
the little villain troop of billionaires.
The little villain troop of billionaires. When I saw that they were there, I was like, fuck Amazon. I'm not ordering from them again. And I've been just boycotting Amazon unless there's something that I absolutely cannot find anywhere else. I do not go to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're seeing Amazon was going to, but didn't anymore. They were going to put the markup for tariffs. And it's like,
on their,
you created this, you fucking idiots. He was telling you the whole time that he was going to do this. What did you think was going to happen? Like, oh, God, my God.
But it wasn't supposed to apply to me.
Right, of course not. No, yeah. Fucking all of them are such idiots. Actually, they're really smart. They're really smart because they know their audience and they know how to manipulate them. They know that they can control Fox. They know that they can control Breitbart and all of those fucking stupid news medias to tell lies for them.
Well, also like the scary thing is there are very smart people. Like there are people like Peter Thiel, right? Who are like on Machiavellian level, like genuinely.
They're on the real back end pulling strings to get an agenda through.
Real, like really hyper intelligent people, probably psychopath, like in a medical sense, like not feeling empathy, that kind of thing. Like, there are those kind of people, and, like, the people who run the Heritage Foundation, it's like, no, they are incredibly smart. They've just, they're in the background while all the bumblefucks are out front doing what they're going to do.
Yeah. And
taking all the heat and the blame while they're over here destroying the goddamn country. And trying to pass bills in the middle of the fucking night so nobody sees.
It blows my mind that they think that they can do even half of the shit that they're trying to say, which is the whole point. They know that they can't, but they're going to just inundate us with a bunch of shit until we just say, all right, well, I fucking give up. I can't do anything.
It's the information overload thing.
Right, exactly.
So that when you finally snap over something that's seemingly small, it's like, oh, you're overreacting. It's like, well, no, because you've been
the radical
left. That's the manipulation tactic, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking and there's a lot of things of like, it's same with all the executive orders and everything. Like the failure rate on those is like in the 90%, right? Like
it's very, wild how many
it's very, very high. Like
it doesn't have the power to do any of that shit.
You can put whatever you want on the big official Post-it note, but that doesn't mean it's going to get through the courts.
And now,
I mean, if it starts getting through the court, right, now we have a different problem. Right
now, he literally was told by the court to get oh my God, Abrego Garcia to get him back. And they said,
We can't.
Suck. I'm sorry.
He's already gone.
I can't.
Which
nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Which they deadass might not be able to.
Well,
I mean, they had that weird photo op with him, which like that was very suspicious to me.
It was like a proof of life thing, but
the MS-13 Photoshop brings life into me that our ridiculously stupid president actually thought that was real.
Yeah.
How?
It doesn't surprise me.
No.
That man can be told a children's story and he will take it as fact.
This is the greatest story ever told. I wrote it, the whole
Dude,
thing.
that's too close to home, actually.
Hate it.
So fucking dumb. This guy,
Dude.
oh my God.
Yeah, that's a very good voice, and I don't like it at all.
I don't like it either.
The neurodivergent mimicry do be hitting sometimes, though, and I'm like, oof.
I'll say this to the respect of like this, the whole shit around him has always hit different for me and my family specifically, because it was like, because of where we come from, like my family's from Venezuela. We lived through a dictator that got appointed by an uneducated mass under a lot of false promises that never came to pass. And then he ran my country into the ground. Yeah.
Wait, you're still talking about Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
Sure.
The red flags have been there from the beginning, from the first.
From the first presidency. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, from Reagan, if we're really being honest.
Even more the second time around. And like what boggles my fucking mind is like my fellow Venezuelans who voted for him that I know of.
Yeah.
And
it's like the color's the same. It's the same red.
I'm like, if you stood against Chavez, how can you look at the same thing in the face and think that your proximity to whiteness or success will save you, when right now we are one of the most targeted demographics that he's trying to take out? And I'm like, those are your fellow people, regardless. Like, and
literal citizens in some cases too.
Literal citizens in some cases, no due
with
process.
No questions.
No questions. There's people that have been taken and then just any fucking tattoo they have were like not, one dude had a tattoo just for autism awareness and they took him. And
I think that's Alberto Garcia, I think. I'm pretty sure he had one of those tattoos, I think.
I'm not sure if it was him. It was somebody else I saw at least.
I think it was someone else with that.
Oh, okay. Maybe I guess.
Yeah, I saw all of those cases, and then I've still to this day, I've heard, like, unfortunately, people like that are technically within my own family talk about it in a way that it's like they almost disassociate themselves from those Venezuelans and don't even think themselves a part of it.
Exactly. The cognitive dissonance.
It's the cognitive dissonance.
I'm like,
they can't handle it.
I'm like, they didn't even have the courtesy of changing the color. I'm like, red is still red. Chavista red and Trump red is the same thing to me.
It's actually the same red, too.
It's the same shade of red. They didn't even bother changing it for you. And I'm like, and y'all are dumb enough to have basically sent us back into square one. And now my mom has to fucking side-eye me. And she's like, hey, you remember what I had to do to fucking get us here? It's on you, bitch. Now you have to go figure it out so that we can start getting out of here. I'm like, what do you mean?
That's one of the worst things, too, is that so many people that lived in America, way back when, they're old now and they're seeing all of their work being taken out, like abortion rights. Yeah. Holy shit. How many women were out in the streets saying, fuck you, get out of my fucking doctor's office. Like, that's not your fucking place.
It's not your business.
And then now they're old, they're seeing this happening and they're like, what the fuck was it all for?
Yeah, it's like our parents had rights.
They're literally holding somebody on life support because they have a child in their stomach and they're not even like they're not
fully
have a functioning brain. They can't stay alive on their own and they're keeping her alive. Like, what the fuck is this?
And the child will not survive. If they do,
of course not.
They will have extremely.
And on top of that, the fucking costs to keep her in the hospital for all of those months is going to the family and will ruin them.
Mm-hmm. Or they just won't pay it.
Because never fucking mind what like a couple of nights stay at a hospital fucking costs, much less 9 months of a fucking pregnancy.
There's like such a thinly veiled dehumanization in a lot of it, where it's like, I mean, it's not even thinly veiled in some ways like this. And like,
no, it's
saying
not.
the quiet part out loud now.
The breeding president or something like that?
She's a test and a trial to be an incubator.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, can you make a fucking living corpse?
Like, y'all gonna have to kill me.
Dude.
Dog.
Yeah. So my wife had, she broke her leg like a month ago ish.
I'm sorry, that sucks.
But she had surgery like 2-3 weeks ago. And you wouldn't believe the fucking price tag on that.
It's crazy. Like
without insurance,
tens of thousands of dollars, if not more.
$40,000.
Yeah.
$40,000. That it was an hour
I'm chronically
surgery.
ill, baby. I know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I sold and worked in insurance, and I still work in healthcare.
God forbid you have to have an ambulance ride that may or may not. You go to a hospital that may not be in your network or whatever, because you get to pick where they're taking you. It's crazy. Even if you have good insurance, it's crazy.
So what you do is you just don't fucking pay, because hospitals don't charge interest, and then they'll go to collections, you'll negotiate a deal, and you'll pay 20% of whatever they were going to make you.
Or you just call them.
That's what you have to do.
Or you call them and you're like, hey, I can't pay this. What I can pay you is $10 a month. And they'll be like, hey, we'll take it because that's more than we were going to get. And that's the trick that a lot of people don't know is if you pay, especially it's different for everything. We're not financial advisors. Please actually do your research or seek someone out. But if you, especially with medical debt, they will tend to just take what they can get if you can't pay the whole amount.
We had gotten a pretty hefty bill because we hit the out-of-pocket maximum, obviously, with a fucking $40,000 surgery. So we hit that, and I was like, do they expect us to be able to pay this right now? What the fuck? They were like, due at time of surgery. I was like, well, fuck no.
Yeah,
so I called them up, and I was like, can we do a monthly payment thing? And they were like, yeah, how about 160? I was like, how about 100? No, not 160. And they're like, okay, cool. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, because the vast majority of people just don't pay it. Your medical debt doesn't follow you. It doesn't affect your credit.
Exactly.
And it will not keep you from taking a loan out for, a house or car, whatever. It's just there. The worst is that you can expect is if you go for a regular visit at that hospital, they may not serve you. But they are required to serve you if it's an emergency. So...
Yeah, we only have one hospital in Salem, Oregon, so...
Okay, well...
I kind of have to do that one.
You gotta go to the designated witch hospital.
Yeah, you gotta pay that $100 a month and keep the wolf from the door.
Keep the medical Baba Yaga sated or pay the consequences.
Which, $100, no interest. We're going to pay it off eventually. That's all right.
It's doable,
we can deal with it. And if we can't, we just fucking stop paying it. Just wait for it to go to collections, and then we'll pay it off then. Yeah. So, anyways, TTRPGs, folks. TTRPGs.
Okay, put a disclaimer before this whole fucking tirade. Thank you.
Lots of real-world examples of terrible villain.
I have a way to tie it back. So, because of the fact that he won, the main baddie in our current arc, which is the overly privileged rich head of his household, who's trying to stage a coup against a woman of color who is the rightful heir of her throne. And I was like, hey guys, I know that D&D is a game of chance and we let the rolls and the dice dictate. However, in my good house, a man that does not get to win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, one thing you can count on at the end of this fight is that man is going to lose.
And that's one of the things about it too, is sometimes those things can be cathartic, at my tables, I will never have, sexual assault or a crazy harm to children, racism, sexism, all of that stuff. I don't have them at my table, but there are times where that can be a place where you talk to your table and say, okay, hey, so these are some of the things that I was thinking. Are you guys okay with that? And with that in mind, that the good will overcome in the end, that can be a really cathartic and really
this evil only exists in the world for now for you to defeat it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to curb stomp the fictional Nazi.
Yeah, and sometimes I just want to put the far from thinly veiled metaphor in the center of the table and let my girls beat him to a pulp.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think that there's always a place for the real world to be put into games with consent of the table.
Yeah.
And I think, there's a lot of inspiration you can pull from.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need it for me. They need it for them. We're just going to all have fun together. Now, does that mean that this is not going to be a tough fight and that there's not already some fuck shit I've thrown their way that they're like, what the fuck do you mean? No.
There's plenty other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plenty still on the table.
If you need a voice for this person, just let me know. I'll be there. I can be like, "Oh, listen, all I want is just fucking
Guns are not in this game. I pull out a gun and shoot him.
You pull out a gun and shoot the laptop on the table. Like
Yeah.
that, John.
My laptop.
I'll
Yeah.
record something. You just play it, and then it's just me fucking doing a TT.
I actually did do one of my other DM counsel, Kay, literally our editor,
Yeah,
Kay.
Kay.
Hi, because I wrote up that whole script for like the big monologue, like dialogue of the court situation.
Mhm.
And she and I were on a voice call while I was doing it and stuff. And she was like, well, if you need someone to voice something, I'm like, do you want to voice like the Queen's comeback situation to this whole thing? And she's like, hell yeah. So she got me all the recordings literally the morning of the session.
It was very good.
And I was like, this is good shit.
It was
Hell
very
yeah.
This
good.
is good shit. So if I write something up and like I need a good little audio, I'll send it your way.
Yeah, send it my way. I don't mind doing it. It sounds great.
Hell yeah.
Dude.
Hell yeah. I love my little troupe of voice actors at my beck and call.
Dude, being in this community is so awesome.
It's
like
so nice.
having just so many people and just being like, hey, you want to do this thing? And they're like, absolutely.
Like, hell yeah.
You son of a
Yeah.
bitch, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
with no questions asked. Like,
Have you met Aaron Laundrie's partner, Chris?
I played briefly Marvel Rivals, I think. We
Yes,
played together
okay.
then. But like I don't
He-
think I actually met.
One, incredible voice.
He has a really good voice. Yeah.
Two, he's done some of the most incredible like audio things for like his campaigns and things that he's let me hear. And he does like a lot of like ambience and background editing, like sound effects,
It's
whatever.
crazy.
He's doing it for an audio I recorded for a character I'm playing in his Lancer campaign. Me and Mariah are both two NPCs, I'll say for now. As a
Two lovely
statement.
NPCs.
Two lovely NPCs.
Definitely not
and he's like
nefarious
already
at
like
all.
editing it and stuff, and he's made me sound so much cooler than I actually
so cool.
am.
That's
Yeah.
not
So
true.
if you ever need like good
Not
audio
true.
stuff,
Yeah. He's
It's
great
just
for that.
enhancing, adding more to it to accompany.
I'll
what
say
you
this:
do.
the quality of audio I sent him versus the one I got back in a rough draft, two different bitches.
Audio editing is a thing that 100%
that's so
changes
different.
things.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I agree. I use Sirenscape for like background noise and stuff like that, and that's a lot of that goes into like the prep that I do.
Mhm.
So I typically like prep in like scenes, and I'll like write up things that I want to happen in those scenes. And so with those scenes, I'll have settings, obviously. So I'll be able to like city or the forest and then have music that fits that sort of vibe that's happening. Which, by the way, Bitten, the Daggerheart campaign that I have, the music that I found for that, it was on Envato, which is it's like a website that has stock everything, so like images, videos, music, sound effects, all of that. I found so much good music that I really wanted to lean into that Last of Us vibe, so I found like the acoustic
Yeah, I saw your little
guitar
trailer,
type of.
and I was like,
So that song I found, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is like
on the nose,
really,
Last
really
of Us.
close."
Oh,
But
yeah.
all of that intro video was from Envato, just a bunch of videos that I found and just kind of pieced
Mashed together, yeah.
Dude, that took probably like 40 hours to do.
No,
That
yeah,
entire
for
intro
sure.
video.
Yeah, it's so involved.
It's wild. I like to do intro videos for like the big things that I'm doing. So like each of the Kindella games that I did, they had a intro video that was similar to the same type of vibes that was in the regular Kindella. And then for this one, I just wanted to do something that this is going to be a huge campaign. I think that with Daggerheart coming out and the cast as good as they are, I mean, already there was somebody that had Crit Awards. The Crit Awards had made a post that was like, who's playing Daggerheart? And we had like 3 or 4 different shout outs on that just alone. And there was only like 7 comments. So it was like,
oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
right.
Yeah.
It was really cool to be able to like the day
You're also
after
just like
this
the
happened.
king of getting in early to
Yeah.
every big thing.
I mean, I gotta prepare for these things, you know. Like I'm just like, okay,
You're
Daggerheart's
like a
coming
shark
out here.
that smells blood in the water.
Yeah.
and you're
Straight up.
there.
Like I already have a good amount of this script set up for the rules for Daggerheart, and this will probably be done next week, probably because I have to. I tried to get a copy early, but it just didn't work out. I really wanted to try and have it day of and just like release it on YouTube, but it is what it is. Plus, I'm sure they have to like rep their own stuff anyways because they have their own series coming out. So like, I'm sure that's probably
Give them
part
a
of
little
it.
space.
Yeah. But yeah, this campaign is gonna be sweet.
Can't wait.
I'm excited to watch it.
Heck
Yep.
yeah. All right. Well, we're definitely over time, but I think we made up for political yap sesh. I
We
think
did. Yeah. Forbidden political yap sesh that may or may not
Political
stay
yap
in the
sesh.
final cut.
Yeah, depending on what we feel about it. But nothing hey, I'll stand on business. Nothing I said
100%.
is not what I mean.
Hey.
Everything we said is 100% factual.
I mean,
Just saying.
it's just another reason that I can't give my phone over to the customs people because they will ship my ass to Gitmo for some of the memes.
That shit is fucking wild. So wild that we're
Like,
doing
we
that
were
and
gonna
we're just like,
go-
this is
we were-
okay.
Yeah, we were gonna go.
I'm like, if you are gonna search the content in my phone for threats upon the president's life, you will find a non-insignificant amount. You know what?
Just
I'll turn myself in.
Yeah, don't go looking. You're gonna find some shit that you
I'm
don't.
sure,
As my mother and my grandmother would say, if you go looking for something, you're gonna find something you didn't want to see, and that'll be both of our problem at that
And that'll
point.
be between me, God, and the deportation people.
Deportation people.
They'll be like, threats of death and you're Venezuelan? What's that little tattoo? A hobbit tattoo?
Can I just
Yeah.
turn around?
Sign.
Gang sign MS-13. I saw on just real quick segue. I saw a picture of somebody trying to explain why it was MS-13 because I was like, why the fuck would they think that those? And they were like, one of them was started with an M. Can't remember, but the other one was an S for smiley, right? And then the other one was a cross, so they put a 1 through it. And then the other one was a skull, so they drew this like really fucked up, like super terrible 3 around it, as if like they were reaching on this. And I was like, how does somebody come up with this shit?
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, like in the age of deep fakes, how is that the best you can do?
Right. Or when they used
Right.
like I'm glad just given
like
the
I'm
image
glad-
to an AI.
Yeah, like I'm glad it was bad. Don't get me wrong, but like it is that thing where it's like you can't be dumb and incompetent. Like you have to pick a struggle.
You do have to pick a struggle.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't,
Or
it's
Clearly
just
not,
annoying
because
for everybody.
Jesus Christ, here we are.
I also saw a thing that was like they had like like a fucking list of like samples.
Or I guess you can't be racist and incompetent because
They had
dumb
like
and
a whole
incompetent are the
sheet
same thing.
that had pictures of samples of what might be gang affiliated tattoos, and on one of them was like a picture of a guy's arm that definitely came from his social media account, a white American man who just happens to have a sleeve of like a fucking grandfather clock or some bullshit on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, he saw that. He's like, that's my fucking arm on your list of
Because famously,
possible gang
you can
tattoos.
go down to your neighborhood tattoo shop and they'll have a sheet of tattoos from the various popular gangs in your area, and you can just get those. And nobody will think anything of it or have anything bad to say to you for any reason.
Yeah.
You can just
It's
have
like the
those
band
on your body.
books.
This is sarcasm. Please don't do that. You will get shot.
The band tattoos. Let me get one of each.
Yeah.
Please, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. They'll no.
Dumb as hell.
Don't.
Dumb as hell. But anyway.
Wild.
Thank you, Johnny, so much
Yay.
for joining us. It has been lovely as always. And we get to see you at PAX this year.
Yes. I'm so
I'm
excited.
so excited. Oh, man.
Incredible.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be great. It's going to be
It's
great.
going to be hyped. It's going to be hyped as fuck. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us, and thank you guys for listening. And give a little plug for anything you've got going on, any new exciting. I know you mentioned some of them on here, and where people can find you.
So TalkingXP at TalkingXP everywhere on the internet. I'm gonna try and push myself to do more TikToks. I really burned out on making videos and TikToks and all that stuff. And then I also bought a house recently, so I fell into yard work and house improvement. Thank you so much. Yeah, we literally threaded the needle on that. But I've just been finding myself doing other things to hopefully keep myself from getting burnout future, and we'll hope that doesn't
Self-care is
happen
important.
again. Yeah. So
take a break once in a while.
Yeah. Break's not right now though. We're good. Anyways, so yeah, TalkingXP everywhere. I'm gonna start making videos. I know. I'm gonna make some videos on TikTok, so you can follow me there. Also, I always post on Threads because that's easy, and I like to keep updated with everybody's stuff. So find me there too. I am running Bitten, which is a Daggerheart campaign that is going to be, since you're listening to this on the 28th, it's going to be June 3rd is the next session, but you're going to be able to hear and watch these sessions on my YouTube page here shortly, so check it out there. I'm also on Wild Magic West. I'm playing a sad robot named Six. It's going to be incredible. It was a great story. Yeah. That's about it, though.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you.
I'll be at Gen Con, too.
And you'll be at Gen Con.
I'll be at Gen Con, so catch me there. Yeah.
Can't miss him. He's a tall bitch.
Him very tall in the crowd.
Him tall. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Table Talk is a podcast brought to you by Mythos Media Productions, bringing you a new episode every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcast. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at Table Talk RPG, or check us out at our website, mythosmediaproductions.godaddysite.com. All business inquiries can reach out to us via email at info@mythosmediaproductions.com.